we have with us Doc Marquis, who I had spoken with a couple of times and over the last couple of days. And don't forget, we last week or the week of the election, he said, I've got something that you're not going to believe. Okay. How many times have we all heard that before? So, and I've never doubted Doc in terms of his investigative prowess and his abilities and such. So I became pretty interested. And then he sent me a couple of images. And I looked at the images and I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at. You know, you've all been there, right? And then he started explaining what I was looking at, and then it kind of all clicked for me. And then he sent us this DVD, There Were Giants on the Earth, Part 3. It's in the Bible series, all right? This is part of a series. I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to tell you without getting yelled at by Doc, okay? Because he'll yell at me, and I don't like that. I cry. I'll have to find my safe space, maybe like at Yale or someplace, and or run to someone with a safety pin or a diaper pin on their head or whatever, and ask for my pacifier and blanket because I'm hurt. But no, but seriously, he's done some amazing work in this. 25 years, 2.5 decades. This is the point in his research. After 25 years of research, this is the aha moment, and he's going to share it with all of us. Doc Marquis, welcome to the Hagman Report. Doc, are you there?
Yes. Doug?
Hi, Doc. How you doing, brother?
Oh, thank goodness. I was wondering if Eric the Tech didn't connect all the wires.
No, you had him. Look, you had him crawling around today and doing all sorts of gymnastics, because what we've done, folks, is for those watching live on YouTube, we've brought the evidence, or we've brought Doc's evidence to display to you on YouTube here, live and by archive. So this is kind of exciting. So yeah, so you put Eric to work today, or I did, and he's managed to bring up to my right. We've got the DVD queued up. He's got the images, and we're ready to rock and roll. So tell us what you got, brother.
Okay, well, while I explain this to you, Eric, if you're listening, please set the DVD disc. You should have the same timer I do. Set it to 15 minutes and 13 seconds exactly, okay?
Put the gun down, Eric. Now, 15:13. Okay, 15:13. All right.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Now, basically, going back with what you were saying, I have been working, more than 25 years now on a 5-part thesis. And that thesis basically consists of this. Wherever you hear of cultural stories of giants, you'll find archaeological evidence, such as, like axes and hand tools and things like that, that only a giant could possibly wield. I'm talking about, and you can see these tools and such that I'll be describing, ladies and gentlemen, on that DVD called There Were Giants in the Earth. Some of those double-headed axes are 10 to 12 feet in height. Now, what normal mortal being would create such an object that no mortal being could possibly lift?
My
It wouldn't make
ex-mother-in-law.
sense.
Yeah. Besides from
Well, I'm not going to go there. That's your business. And, where you find this archaeological evidence, you'll find stone circles. Where you find stone circles, you'll find demonic activity. And where you find demonic activity, and this is the 5th part, I have been waiting, I don't know how many decades to finally prove, because I'd seen all this when I was in the Illuminati. But I'm going to show you this 5th part. Eric, are you at that 50-minute and 13-second mark?
We're just a little bit behind, but
Just a little bit behind that 13-second
well,
mark.
yeah, we're kind of froze up right now, and we're gonna reboot. we're going to reboot
Okay.
the device that is actually. This is our first time doing this, Doc. So,
Right. Oh, I understand. So there could be some snags.
yeah.
So whenever you're ready, Eric, just give Doug the signal, please, because I'm going to show you folks the evidence of the fifth part of my thesis I've been hunting down for, as I said, over 25 years now. The rest of it was, at least for me, easy enough to do because of everything I learned in the Illuminati. But trying to find this fifth final piece of the puzzle, as I said, it took me 25 years, but God be praised, we finally got it to prove to everyone what is really out there.
Okay. And again, this is something that you just to drive this home, folks. 25 years of research, and I know what it's like to research something for forever. I mean, I've got a murder investigation that has gone unsolved my entire career as an investigator, and so when you get that aha moment, and as Doc is providing right now or about to provide, this is fantastic. So okay, and others before you, Doc, and within your uh, circle of
My field?
your peers, right? Your circle.
Yeah.
They have obviously come to the similar conclusions. They found the same artifacts and such, but this is all being hidden in history. Okay, now we're at the 1513 mark. Pursue to your
Okay, so what I want you to do, Eric, just let the film roll till you get to 50 minutes and 35 seconds. At that point, just pause it.
Okay, we're going to do that.
Let everyone see this. Is it rolling? Is it rolling?
Okay, not yet. I'll tell you when, Doc. We're going to
Okay.
have what we were trying to do is actually make this into a full screen. So it's going to be me and that screen. So yes, is it rolling? I'll tell you when, and it is. Here we go.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear that audio.
Hear the dogs bark?
Yes.
Hear the dogs barking in the background?
Yes.
Something's happening. Just keep watching. Look towards that steel circle you see in the picture, and look towards the 3 o'clock position. Pause it.
Okay. Did
you see that?
There was it almost. That was weird. Oh, wait a second. That almost, Doc. Did somebody just come out of the ground?
Nope.
Okay.
Out of thin air. Now, if you can help it, Eric, move it up to 51 minutes and 17 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to have to write this down. 51:17. Okay.
Yeah, you can do it more or less.
All right. Boy, that was weird. Folks, I don't know whether you saw this. I'm sure you did.
Don't worry, we'll be going over it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Stand by. We're slowly. If you're close, Eric, you can just go ahead and let it play.
Right. So long as it's within the 51 minutes and 17 seconds, more or less, we'll be fine.
All right. Here we go. Here we go, Doc.
Okay. Now pause it immediately. Pause it. Okay. Now you should see a different picture, right?
We still have the same circle, the same dark shadow. We have the.
Oh, okay. Let it run for a couple of seconds until you see a different photo.
All right.
Different part
there
of
it is. Okay. All right. We stopped it.
Okay. Pause it.
Yep.
Now look to your far left, and you'll see a truck around the middle. It looks like a Jeep towards your left-hand side of the screen.
In the foreground, perhaps, or are you looking at?
Okay, this should be a different picture now.
Right.
We're looking at, right?
It's kind of has a reddish tint to it, I guess, or is that me?
Right. Now look to all the way to your left.
Yep.
And you'll around the middle, and you'll see what looks like a Ford Jeep or truck, something like that.
Oh, I see it. Okay, I got it. Okay. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Now look towards the front of it, where the hood would be.
Right.
Okay. Now, look up for about an inch and a half or 2 inches, and wait for it. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Tell them to play the film footage, please.
Sure. Go ahead. All right. Now we
Did you
faded.
see it?
We faded to black. Yes.
Okay. Pause it.
Okay.
Did you see what that was?
Saw it. Don't know what it is.
Okay, well, we're going to get into this a little more. Eric, bring it up to 5146, please.
Okay. Let's talk amongst you and I as he does that. Okay.
Something's going on here, isn't it?
Yes. No.
Have you even got a clue yet as to what you're looking at?
Well, it wouldn't be fair for me to answer that question. I didn't before I spoke to you, either last night or this morning. I think it was today.
Well, I didn't tell you what it was. I never told you what it was. I was going to leave that until you saw these things for yourself.
Okay. If you want to, if you're looking to ask me what that was.
I'm asking everyone. Type in your responses right now to Doug. Let him read them off as he's pontificating on what he believes he saw.
Okay. Let me. Actually, I'm getting some messages here. Portal. Number of times. Portal. Looks like an opening. Looks like an electrical charge. Looked like. Okay.
I love it.
Looks like a.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Because of my Illuminati background, I knew what it was immediately.
Okay.
Now, are we up to 5146 mark yet?
Yes, we are. Now,
okay.
Hold on a second. Eric's kind of getting repositioned here. Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
While Eric's getting it repositioned, let me say, when it gets to 52:22, pause the film, okay?
All right.
That's 52:22, pause the film.
Okay, we'll pause it at 52:22 when it starts.
No.
No, I mean...
It starts at 51:46.
Right.
And pause it when it reaches 52:22.
Okay. By the way, we just had gone through that.
Can you see it?
I'm not sure of the timing yet. Eric will tell me. Eric will tell us. Okay, is that where we're supposed to be? Okay.
At 51:46.
We're at 51:46. Or
right.
It
and
says,
let it run all the way through till 52:22.
Okay, I'm sorry. We did. We already did that. Now we're at 52:22. Stopped. So frozen.
No.
Go back.
No. You need to be. You need to begin this next section. It's the same thing. Just start it at 51:46.
Okay.
And then let it pause at 52:22.
I'm sorry, Doc. We just did that. So it's paused at 52:22. I'm sorry. That was my fault.
Oh, okay. Did you already see it?
Yes.
You saw it from the beginning. And did you see the zoom in pictures also?
Yes. You had 160 and 141% zoom.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Still, any guesses on what you're looking at?
Let me go over here. Actually, I've got. My goodness, I've got emails. And I've got some sort of gate. Some sort of. Let's see. Here we got.
Okay, Eric. While he's doing that, bring the film up to 52:52.
5252.
Yep, and let it pause at 54:09.
54:09. Okay. So for folks listening on the global star in that venue. What we're looking at, Doc, you want to tell the radio or tell people where this is, or is this too early yet to tell them?
No. I can't tell anyone where this footage was taken from because it's right where I've been doing my field work, and I don't want people just to go out on that area because you have to know. Well, let's put it this way: you have to have a good amount of survival training in areas like this. And second, I don't want anyone to contaminate the area.
Gotcha, and I understand that. And what we saw already, to me, was an amazing thing. It looked as if, to me, someone. Okay, here's what it looks to me. It looks like this is surveillance videotape. Or a surveillance video. Okay, on an area that has, within the area, it has vehicles, and like when I say vehicles, a couple of construction vehicles, but it's kind of it's got a dirt, what is it, dirt ground, or just ground.
Right.
It's got some sort of a circle, maybe a man-made circle. I don't know what that would be, but
neither do I.
Okay, but nonetheless, near that circle, what I witnessed, and this is what I would describe it if I was talking to a police officer in court, it would appear that there was a shadow on the ground, certainly not made by anything that was visible, and from that shadow appeared a...
Very interesting you said shadow, because you said on the ground,
Right.
but it wasn't on the ground. It was standing up.
Okay.
Yeah, let's take a look at that again. If you've got it set, Eric, roll the film again at 5252, please, and stop it at 5409.
Okay, 52...
Or pause it, I should say.
52 to 54.
5409.
Right. All right, folks. And this is from the DVD, There Were Giants in the Earth. So, and you can get this, folks, and I would urge everyone to get this at Doc Marquis' website. It's a God Thing Production 777.com. All right, here it is. Here we go.
Okay, we're back to that big steel circle, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, keep watching at the 3 o'clock position. And once the timer hits 24, it's going to appear again.
Oh, no, that's too weird. That is just way too weird.
Let it keep rolling till 5409. Remember, you're going to look towards your left-hand side at the truck and look above the truck's hood.
All right.
It's just about there.
Okay, now that's pretty bizarre. Now that's just...
Right. Pause it at 5409.
I need purple sticks, man. I mean, seriously, did you guys see that? I mean, I know, folks, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but you had to see it. If you're watching YouTube, you had to see it on our monitor. All right. By the way, I just want to say this, but folks, by the way, this is our first time out on doing something like this. We're going to be improving on this, but nonetheless, you had to see that. You had to see it. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay. As I was saying, I purposely showed this 3 times. Now, let me say a couple things before we go on. First of all, the footage, ladies and gentlemen, and as I said, I know what I'm looking at. I sent the actual footage, the surveillance camera disc. I sent them out not just once, but twice, and had them authenticated. I knew this would be a hot topic, and I knew that there'd be a lot of naysayers. And every single time I sent it out, it came back, and each time the companies went down to the 5th level, to the infrared level, and even checked the pixelation to make sure nothing was tampered with. And both certificates will clearly point out, just to paraphrase it all, it is what it is. Now, that being said, we are going to go over this. We're going to be looking at this footage frame by frame. But what you folks just witnessed, the first one is an actual demonic manifestation. And it's the same thing with the second one. It has never been recorded on film. These are genuine demonic manifestations. And I'm going to teach you as we go through these frame by frame by frame. I'm going to show you so you can tell from here on in what is a genuine demonic manifestation and what is not. There are certain characteristics in any demonic manifestations, and I learned all this in the Illuminati, that will always be there.
Okay.
So
wow.
That being said, Eric, if you would please bring it up to the 55-minute and 50-second section. 55 minutes and 50 seconds.
Okay. While he's doing that, hang on a second, Doc. While he's doing that, again, I want to remind people, Doc Marquis is our guest. The DVD, which this is originating from, is There Were Giants in the Earth. Okay, and I would urge everyone to grab, to buy this. It's a God Things Production 777 because
you will see.
This is the subject, of course, of what you're seeing here. We're doing our best to present this. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry. Doc,
yes,
we got about a minute left before break, so you want to just wait? Why don't we wait until after the break to run that?
Right. Just set it to 55:50.
Okay, it's set at 55:50.
Okay, and you can see that big ring, right?
Yes, sir. And that ring looks like almost like a campfire would be. Picture a campfire for those listening on radio. If you
I really never knew what it was. It looks like some type of piece of instrument to a big, steel tube or something.
No, that's true.
I never could figure it out.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like there's a depression in the ground. It looks, I don't know, but it's picture like what struck me is it would be like a campfire, but it's not. It has no evidence of fire inside. It's just kind of like a ring.
Right.
Yeah. So
I can tell you right now, it's not a Stargate.
Man, I'll tell you something. But what I saw there just freaked me out, folks. If you're listening to this via Globalstar or BTR, you can go to our HagmannandHagmann.com, check out the video on our YouTube. And again, this is from Doc Marquis' website or his DVD series. There Were Giants in the Earth. Go to It's a God Things Production 777. It's from the part 3 in It's a God. It's in the Bible, the series. Folks are going to write right back.
It's only one thing, but that's 3 in the whole of the series. There's not a part 2 or part 3. It just happened to be DVD
and welcome back,
3.
ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. Our guest tonight, Doc Marquis. It's a God Things Productions 777, dropping in to talk about his series. Now, this DVD is number 3 in part 3 in It's in the Bible series. All right. Specifically, we are taking images, with his permission, from There Were Giants in the Earth, and inside this box that I'm holding, there's 2 DVDs inside this box. Now, I'm going to tell you something, okay? This series, it complements the research of other researchers, but it also offers something I've never seen before. You just saw it, if you're watching it on YouTube, on the monitor. Now, let me just give you a little bit of I just want to say one thing about this. Folks, we are streaming out to 3 different networks, okay? 1 video, 2 additional audio. So we're streaming out 3 audio streams and 1 video stream. The 1 video and audio stream to YouTube Live is synced, but we've got to sync the others up as well. Now, the reason I said all of that is to say this. Okay, you might, and I know there are junior technicians out there saying, well, you should be able to do a better job than that. Folks, you have to understand the complexity of streaming 3 live streams out, okay, because we don't pre-record anything. That's number 1. Number 2, our equipment, we're pushing our equipment to 100% of its capabilities, all right? So I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you why. we're having a little bit of difficulty here, and plus we've never done this in this fashion before. So, and people, I got to tell you right now, people in the UK are watching this. People in Europe are watching this, in South and Central America, as well as all across the United States. So, having said all of that, yes, it is a big deal. It's not something that this is not something you cook up in your mother's basement, unless you're some really child prodigy apparently. But even at that, our equipment is at 100%. All of our equipment's at 100%. So this is why also when we ask for your support and we get your support, we put it right back into equipment. We couldn't even do this 6 months ago were it not for you. All right. So anyway, I'm kind of a little bit, Doc, I'm a little bit stalling here only because we're trying to resurrect the video, which almost burned up one of our equipments here, or one of our pieces of equipment. So we're getting back to the 55-50 mark, I believe, or whatever you said, Eric. He's got that. So we're getting there.
Right. Now, just let me know when he's ready, because let me fill in some of the blanks here while we're waiting. Okay.
All right.
Sure. What we're looking at right now is the result of something that began during the right before and after the days of Noah. You'll find this in Genesis chapter 6, where we first find out about the fallen angels that mated with female human beings and started the races of giants. Well, it was because their fathers or their sires told them to do this, that ancient stone circles, such as Stonehenge, Bethlehem in England, the ones in ancient Persia known as Göbekli Tepe or Navale Kore, and there's others you can find in Russia, Sweden, Portugal, these stone circles and such. Those giants were ordered by their sires to build those ancient stone circles. And how's the switch the board going? How's Eric doing, I should say?
We're good now, sir. We are good now.
Okay, so let me just finish this. The reason they had those stone circles built was because they knew what was coming. They knew God was going to destroy the earth, and eventually, even after the flood, if you remember, the ancient giants were hunted down, but it's the demons themselves that really wanted those stone circles built. And if you notice, they remained. Most of them are in the 5,000-year-old range. The reason they wanted them built was because the demons knew God was going to put his foot down when the flood hit.
Mm-hmm.
But this was actually, believe it or not, shall we say, like if we use a computer term, like a backdoor way of coming back on the earth. You see, remember, stone circles originally, and let's use Stonehenge for examples. There were three main reasons for their creation, archaeologists believe. One was because they were centers of religious service, which is true. I mean, in England, that would have been the Druids. They were also used for astrological observatories, and they were also the places where the rites of human sacrifice were being performed. These sacrifices at those stone circles were used to summon up demons. That was the purpose. And if people don't want to take my word for it, archaeologists, I'm sure you can find this on the net. Archaeologists have unearthed under Stonehenge alone more than 4,000 human skeletal remains. And they could tell by the remains of the skull caps that they were used as sacrifices. And that stone circle, that Stonehenge, that's a small stone circle. The one in Bethlehem is more than a mile in circumference. So you can imagine how many human sacrifices are underneath that one.
Okay.
Now, the hidden reason, big reason for those stone circles being created was so that the demons could once again be summoned. Remember, they were confined to the earth. They're no longer allowed to roam like they used to. However, with the stone circle, someone who knows what they're doing when it comes to high ceremonial magic can summon them back.
Okay. When you say summon them back,
Yeah, because
in other words, through an invisible gateway or through?
well, no. It depends, and that's what we're going to go through now. If it's a second dimensional demon, it doesn't need a portal or a gateway. It's properly known as an interdimensional portal. But if it's a third dimensional, if it's a fourth dimensional demon trying to take on a physical third dimensional form, it will need a portal to come through. And there was one that most people did not see in the second manifestation, and we'll get to that. Okay?
All right.
So what we're going to do, just start the DVD and keep the volume off. Just turn the volume off so everyone can hear what I'm saying as we go through this frame by frame. We'll be stopping, Eric, at the 58-minute and 13-second mark, okay?
You know, Doc, Eric's going to demand overtime. All right. Or time and a half for this. Okay. Here it goes.
Okay. Let me know when it starts.
It started.
Okay. Now, if you notice that this first frame, this was the original frame we looked at, and you should be able to see a red circle.
Roger that.
Right. That's where the demon appeared, okay?
Yeah, now, I'll second that. Yeah, that was freaky.
Right. Okay, now, and this is going to be at the 3 o'clock position, so let's just keep watching. And you'll see that here there still is nothing. But in the red circle, you can see something is beginning to manifest, correct?
That is correct, yep.
Okay. Now, as the film keeps going, you'll see that there is something beginning to really show now, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And you can see it better in the red circle?
Yep, it looks like an Olympic gymnast almost. Yep, coming up.
Right. And there it is. Yep. That is what's known as a shadow man. That's a demon that's hunched over right now. And if you look towards its rear, there really is a little tail there. Can you see it?
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in this next frame, as that begins to fade out, you see the demon quickly turn around and leave, correct?
Hightails it out of there. Yep.
Yep, and it'll be more apparent once you see it in the red circle. This way, when you look at it, normally you can see there's a head, its back, and what are its arms.
Right.
It's in a running position,
yep.
And you can see in this next frame, it's beginning to quickly fade away, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in the red circle, it should be quite obvious that the demon is fading away.
Yep, that's correct. Now the red circle, the red circle's added to obviously as a visual aid, folks. So I mean, go ahead. All right.
Right. And at this next frame, you can see that the demon has completely vanished.
Correct.
Okay, now pause it now, please.
Paused.
Okay. Now, again, yes, those red circles are there to help the person center on the image in case they're having difficulty seeing it or finding it.
Okay. You want the image. Say that again. Did you catch that, Eric? Okay, Doc, say that one more time for Eric's sake.
Oh, the reason I have the red circles put in the other frame is because a lot of people sometimes can't see the image or can't find it, so it's there to make it easy for the person to locate them.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Which, yeah, now, right. So, folks, what we have, or Doc, what we have on the screen right now is the image, just to really drive this home, the image in full form encircled in red. Just so you know, that's where we have it right at this moment. Right, and you should be able to see where the demon has all vanished. Correct? Well, yes. No, we can advance it there. Oh yeah, that would be at the 58-minute and 13-second mark. Right. Okay. Yeah. At that point,
that demon has completely turned around and left.
Yes, gonzo. Yep, gone. Bye-bye.
Right. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, hold on one second. Let me just check something. I want to make sure I have this set right. You see, there's a couple things I do want to explain, to everyone about what they just saw, because it's going to be very critical to your understanding as far as what is and what isn't a real demon. Because we see a lot of people nowadays, let's be honest, especially when you're on the net, they will say, well, this is a demonic event, or this is a demonic creature. And quite honestly, and I'm putting this as nicely as possible, those people are just trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes as far as I'm concerned. Because I have examined more footage of what people have sent me and what others have put on the net while they're claiming that, such and such is, is a demon of some sort. And it really isn't. But unfortunately, too many Christians just don't know what really makes, something that's real or isn't when it comes, to demonic manifestations or sometimes possession. You see what I'm saying here?
Yeah, well, let me tell you something, Doc. If I saw that in real life, in person, demon or not, I'd be the hell out of there. Literally.
You don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to. Now, right. Eric, if you can hear me, let's bring this up to the 59-minute and 30-second mark.
5930 mark. Stand by.
Right.
All right. We're getting there.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm telling you, that is some freaky stuff, Doc.
Well, as I said, I've been trying to prove to everyone, the fifth part of my thesis is wherever there's stone circles, you'll find demonic activity.
Right. I love Karen. You're talking about stone circles. I love Karen, who said the moral of the story is if you see a red circle, then you know you're in trouble. God bless you, Karen. A little levity there. But, yeah.
She's at a stoplight.
Okay. Doc, I think it might be important to restate the five. You said there are 5 areas or 5 things that
there was 5 points in my thesis.
Right.
Where you find where you hear cultural stories of giants, you'll find archaeological evidence.
All right.
Where you find the archaeological evidence, you'll find the stone circles. Where you find the stone circles, you'll find demonic activity. And where you find demonic activity, you'll find demonic manifestations.
Wow.
And this is the 5th part. You see, all this is a big circle, literally speaking. Because, you see, the stone circles were made because the demons were going to be banished by God once the flood had happened. And now that the stone circles had been built, and the people, those occult people, had learned how to summon them, the demons are being summoned back through these stone circles. It's been going on for thousands of years now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The people just weren't aware of the major reason why these portals, why these circles were made, was so that the demons, through the correct rituals, could be summoned through the dimensions.
But, okay, now this question is from me.
Okay.
Knowing the flood was coming, if I heard you correctly, knowing the flood was coming, they built these circles. Is that what you said?
They had their children, the giants,
right,
build these circles for the sake of being able to summon them in the future.
Okay, all right. Because I was going to ask how that tied. Okay, so that was their motive or their purpose of these. Okay, got it. Okay, all right.
That's the ultimate reason for their creation, so they could once again be summoned, but down the road.
All right. If they made them out of newspapers, then it wouldn't have worked. So, all right, got it. Okay.
Okay, are we at 5930 yet?
We're at 5930. I got 2 thumbs up from Eric, and no, that wasn't necessary, Eric.
Okay. Well, no, let Eric have his fun.
Do you want audio with that, Doc?
No. It won't be necessary.
Okay. No. All right.
Now, I take it you're looking at that demon again, the first manifestation.
Yes.
Okay. Now, look at the objects around it. You see the truck in the forefront?
Yes.
Or whatever that is in the forefront?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see that truck off in the distance towards the right a little?
I do. We do. Yes.
Okay. Now, can you see that, what looks like a soccer ball somewhere in the middle?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. I want you to look at this picture for a second. Look at those objects carefully. Compare it to that shadow man, and try to tell me what's wrong with the shadow man. Those objects have something the shadow man doesn't.
A shadow.
A shadow. Exactly. You see, as I said, this is a two-dimensional demon. Anyone who knows anything about quantum physics or mechanics can tell you a two-dimensional object is infinitely thin and cannot cast a shadow. It has height, it has width, but it has no depth in order to cast a shadow. That is a surefire sign of a demonic manifestation, among other things.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. Take a good look. It's casting no shadow.
Right.
Yeah.
Even
that shadow
smoke
that seems to be right below its feet, that's part of the steel ring. It's always been there. You just didn't notice it in the beginning.
All right.
But if you notice, that's the right-hand shadow that all those objects are casting because of the way the security cameras are and the lighting. And if you notice, there's no shadow coming from that demon.
Very true. Yeah. The way the lights are, obviously, the shadow would appear to the right of the image. I mean, look at the or to the right and towards the front of the picture. So, yeah, there's no shadow, visible shadow, not even a little bit. Okay.
No, and you see, because it is two-dimensional, it does not need to go through an interdimensional portal. You see, interdimensional portals are three-dimensional objects. This is a two-dimensional object or being. It slips in between the dimensions. That's how it gets from point A to point B.
Okay.
Right.
Wait a second. Interdimensional beings slip through. Say that again, because
this second-dimensional being.
Second-dimensional beings. Okay.
Right. Does not need an interdimensional portal, which is a third-dimensional object, because it, the demon, is not a third-dimensional creature. It is a second-dimensional creature, so it doesn't need a third-dimensional means to get here.
All right.
It slips in between the dimensions. Now, this one in particular wasn't even supposed to be here. I can't prove this, but I think what happened is it undershot its mark, because if you notice, as quick as it manifested, it turned around and got out of here.
That's an interesting statement. Yes, it was not supposed to be here. Yeah.
No, it's not supposed to. Demons, I don't care what their physical makeup, if you want to call it that, be it second or fourth dimension, they're not supposed to be here. And there is a universal constant that God instilled in creation that automatically kicks a demon out if it hasn't been summoned or if it's not possessing someone. It is automatically thrown out.
So he just like a typical guy didn't follow his wife's directions and ended up here or something, right? I mean, so he was not supposed to be. He was not supposed to be here, is what you're saying. And
now, interesting enough, it looks like it took a long time when the demon was here for it to manifest and leave. The footage, if we look at the timing of the footage, everything happened in 1 second.
Okay.
That's how fast this event occurred. It manifested. It didn't belong here. It turned. It left.
Wow.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which, when you kind of take a step back mentally and think about everything, what you said, it does make sense. I understand that. Okay. And all right.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, Eric, if you would, let's bring this up to the 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 21 seconds. So that's 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 21 seconds.
Got it.
You'll know we're at the right spot when we get to that other picture. Remember, with the second demonic manifestation, and it looks like it's orangish on the ground. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. We're working toward 10421 standby.
Right.
All right. Okay. And
We're going to examine the second demonic manifestation, and you're going to learn a whole lot of things here.
all right. And we're about 5 minutes out from the top of the hour on this. Folks, you're listening to Doc Marquis. His website, It's a God Things Productions, plural. It's a God Things Productions 777.com. And again, we're sourcing the video from the DVD. There Were Giants in the Earth. This is a 2 DVD set, 3 hours long, and it's part 3, and it's in the Bible series. So those people who want to purchase this, and folks, do so. These are going to be going very quickly, so you're going to want to get your order in quickly. Okay, folks. So visit It's a God Things Productions 777.com and get your order in.
Now this is a section 8 of the 2 DVDs, Doug.
Right.
Because I in this particular 2-disc set, we went from the very beginning, from the days of Noah, through the creation of the ancient stone circles, and I'll show you everything on the DVD, what I'm talking about, because all these things have a connection. And believe it or not, among other things that connect all this together, and this is going to freak some people out, but you'll see a lot of those, what are they called, crop formations. You know, those where people's fields are being made into various forms,
crop
figures,
circles.
shapes.
Yeah, crop circles.
Right. Yeah, but there are a whole bunch of crop circles that people haven't been allowed to see. And when we take a look at them, and I do have them, and you will see them on the DVD, when you look at those crop formations that aren't in the papers or magazines, you'll understand why those crop formations, the ones, let's call them occult crop formations. You'll understand why those particular formations were made only next to the stone circles.
Okay, that's an
There's
interesting. Wow.
Yeah, there's a whole series of occult crop formations that are appearing only at these stone circles. And I'll show you the physical evidence. I'll show you the photos. And it's interesting that those formations are all occult symbols. And they're appearing at these occult temples where they're summoning up these demons.
My word. Okay, folks, you're listening to Doc Marquis. We're coming up here to the top of the hour. This is the Hagman and Hagman Report. Folks, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to hagmanandhagman.com, pick a venue, of course, YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our social networking sites, Hagman Report, on Facebook, at Hagman Report on Twitter, Douglas Hagman on Twitter as well, myself on Facebook personally, and of course, Real Tech Eric. Folks, we're going to be back here with Doc Marquis right after this. Stay right where you're at. Fascinating stuff. We are at that point in the video. The orange, what well, I don't know what you call it.
It looks like it's the same area, but it's a different camera angle.
Yep.
And because it's a different camera, the lighting's a bit different.
Right.
Now, because the picture, some of these pictures will be difficult to see because of the lighting, what I did, I'm going to, I used Photoshop, and I lightened the photos. Now, that's all I did. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the first photo, which will be the original footage from the film. We'll be looking at the frame. Then we'll see a second frame. It'll be the same picture, but it'll have a red circle. Then we're going to see a third frame. That's going to be the lightened one that I did. And the fourth frame will be the same lightened one, but with the red circle. Okay?
Okay. Eric, you get that?
You'll see what I'm saying as we go along.
Eric shaking his head.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Good. All right.
Well, that's why Eric gets paid the big bucks, and you and I, are lucky if we can get coffee.
Well, speaking of coffee, we still owe you coffee, but that's another story for another day. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Now, if you remember, there's a truck to the far left, in the middle, all the way to the left.
Yeah.
Okay. And right above the hood, maybe about an inch and a half up on the photo, you can see what looks like a horizontal streak of some sort.
Yes. Yes.
It's grayish. And behind it, there looks like there's something in midair, almost like a half circle or like a crescent shape.
No, go with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you'll see it better as we go along. Just pay attention to this. Okay, now, Eric, just hit the film, let it run, okay? And once it gets to 1 minute, here I go again. Once it gets to 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 17 seconds, that's when you can pause it, okay?
All right.
Okay, so just run it.
All right.
Let me know when it's running.
He just hit the button, and it's running.
Okay, so there's that gray streak again, as I was saying. Now, when you see the circle, the red circle, you right in the center, you should be able to see that streak towards the middle of the circle.
Yeah. See something there. Okay, yeah.
Now, in the next photo, it should be easier to see because it's lighter.
Okay.
Can you see it easier now?
Yeah, there's something that happened to that. Yeah. So, okay, yeah.
Right. And right behind it, in the red circle, you should be able to see that, like what looks like almost like an opening in midair.
Okay, yeah.
That's the portal. That's the interdimensional portal it's going through. Now, if you notice in this next one, something has jumped out, right?
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Right. Okay,
yeah.
And you should see the red circle next?
Yep.
Okay, now in the next frame, Eric, I want you to pause it now. Just pause it.
Done.
You should see the lighter version, but there's no red circle.
Correct.
Okay, just pause it there. Now, look at this object very carefully. It actually, if you look towards the very rear of it, it looks like there's a tail, correct?
Depends on where the rear is. The rear closer to the ground?
The rear is pointing, the tail is pointing towards the 10 o'clock position.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. Okay.
Right. Now, look down, and you'll see that all of a sudden there's a black space.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's almost as if the tail has been disconnected.
Right.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
That's because, and now we're going to get further into this. Look further down, a little past its midsection, and you'll see the same type of thing where there's like just almost like a black line, but it's a black space.
Correct.
Now, the reason that's true is because this demon that's manifesting is in transit. It's in either third or fourth dimensional right now. It's trying to take on a physical form.
All right.
And the final proof of this, look down to where the head should be.
Okay.
There is no head there.
No, I don't.
Yet,
what the heck? Okay, yeah.
You can see its two legs touching the ground in the front, but it has no head.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's in transit. It's not a third or fourth at this point.
Okay.
Now, among other things, for those people who don't believe this is a demon, you better tell me what third-dimensional animal you're aware of that can move about that doesn't have a head.
Huh.
But as we go along, you will see the head.
All right.
Right now, as it says, it's in between the third and fourth dimension. It's trying to take on a cohesive or a solid form. That's why parts of it is missing right now.
Okay, and this is running right now, right? No, it's not running. Okay, it's paused.
No, it should have been paused.
Okay, all right. So it's paused. Okay, that's fine.
Right.
All right. So, all right.
Now, is the photo you're looking at right now? Does that have a red circle?
No.
Okay. We'll play it until we see the red circle around that creature there.
All right. And
okay, just start the film up again.
Okay, it started. And
it should be at somewhere around 105.40.
It's we got a red circle.
Right, and you see that creature there?
Yep.
Okay, good. Now, just start the film again.
All right, started.
Let me know when it's starting.
It's starting now.
Okay, and you should see the creature on the ground now.
That's correct.
Right, now let me know when you see the oval around it, the red oval.
It was there and disappeared.
Okay, just keep watching. Let's keep going, because you can see the creature now has taken on a full physical form, okay?
Yes.
Right. Now, the creature itself, as you can see, there should be another oval in the lighter photo so you can see it better.
Yep.
Okay, good. Now, just keep watching the film as it goes on.
All right.
Okay, because the creature you can see is going to be moving behind that tree, if you would.
Right. And it just lightened up.
And and you should be able to see it with the oval around it.
Yes. The oval was there. It lightened up. Now the oval's gone. Now it's back again. Yep.
Right. Okay. Now, you'll see the creature again. It's taking off in flight.
Yes.
Right. And you should see the oval around it.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the next photo, you'll see a lighter version of it. Notice that its entire midsection is gone, but the head is now there.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Right. You should see the red oval around it and the lighter form.
Yes. Now it's more of a circle, and it's off the ground. It's appearing to be off the ground, and has a kind of a chunk missing out of the center, and now it's...
Right. It's losing cohesion again, but it's manifested a head now.
Okay. Now it's now we're at the it's darker red circle above. Right. And it's above the ground.
Right. It's darker, and there's a red circle, and then it's going to get lighter again.
Yeah, it's doing that now. Yep.
Right, and then you see the red circle.
Yep. Here it is. Yep. The red circle. Mm-hmm.
Because the creature's taken off, it's not supposed to be there. You'll see the darkened photo, and then you'll see the darkened photo with the circle.
Darkened photo right now.
Right.
And then there's
you'll
the
see the red circle.
Yep.
Right. And then you'll see the lighter version. And then you'll see the lighter version with the circle.
Lighter version right now.
Now look at the midsection. Straight down the middle. It's all missing now.
And now we got the circle. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's losing its cohesion, because in the next photo you can see it's flying off.
Yeah, taking off like a bat out of you-know-where.
Exactly. The red circle will show it. And in the lighter version, you can see the same creature taken off. Its entire, if you drew a line straight down the middle, it's missing. From top to bottom, it's completely missing. Right. And in the next couple frames, you'll see that it has completely vanished. Now pause the film there, please.
All right. We paused it where it is vanished.
Right.
Okay, there we go. Just to remind everyone, you're listening to Art Bell. This is Coast to Coast A. I'm sorry. No. Doc Marquis is our guest. Yeah, what am I thinking? No, Doc Marquis is our guest, folks, and pretty fascinating stuff. Okay. Go ahead. Wow.
Okay, as we were saying, when we look at the second manifestation, there was a number of things that was obviously different than the first. Okay? The first one was a two-dimensional object. The second one was a fourth-dimensional demon trying to take on a physical form in our third-dimensional realm of existence. Now, behind that demon, when it was first manifesting, and for those of you who have seen the film or want to get the film, pause it there as the demon's about to manifest, and if you look right behind it, you can actually see the interdimensional portal open and close. You see, the problem is it happened so quick on the film that trying to even get a half-decent shot of it is extremely difficult. And this was the best shot of that event that I could get. You can still see the dimensional portal, but you'll have to pause it very quick so you can study it. But it is there. As I said, I've had this thing authenticated twice, the footage and everything, and they said it is exactly what I've said it is.
All right. Now, I'm gonna just ask this because normal surveillance cameras now today are digital and roughly 30 frames per second approximately. Is that what we're looking at here? Stationary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All
that's
right.
exactly what it was.
All right. Okay.
Right. It's not as if we're looking at normal rolling film. You know as well as I do that there's sort of like clicks and pauses in between.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but this does appear to be a pretty high quality or a pretty upwardly mobile surveillance system, given the
this
environment.
was a very good one. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I was able to use this footage, because it can clearly show what I've been saying all along. Because if you remember, when the demon landed, its front paws on the ground, there was no shadow.
True.
Yeah, the reason there was no shadow in this case is because the demon did not and could not manifest. If it was able to manifest a complete third-dimensional body, there would have been a shadow. But because it was in transit, it was in between third and fourth dimension all the way, it could not leave a shadow.
Wow.
That's what happened. And again, when we look at the demon very carefully throughout this footage, excuse me, you'll notice it was always in transit because parts of the body was there, parts of it wasn't. And in the beginning, there was no head, but we saw later on in the footage, it finally manifested a head. Remember?
Right. Yeah, it did. When I first saw it, I mean, to me, that first image, or the first time that was one of the most spectacular things, I think, without the frame by frame. It had the appearance of some sort of what would you call it? Like a puma. I don't know.
Like a wolf or coyote or
wolf.
something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best I could call it myself. Because it was trying to take on a physical form. But again, and here's the reason why. Let me explain this. Most people probably don't know this. After the great war in heaven, and the angels were cast out, and they were the demons. What we call demons now, or what's the original Greek word, demonos, or demoniac. They lost, I'd honestly say, about 90% of their normal powers, their natural powers. Because if you ever look at the scriptures carefully, and we see angels are being sent by God to do this or to take care of that,
right.
To me, it always appears that those angels are being sent from a great distance, and yet somehow they get here to the earth seemingly within seconds. That's what it looks like to me when I see it in the Bible.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's because the angels have the natural abilities to go in between all these dimensions without batting an eye. They don't need portals. They don't need to slip in between them like demons do. No, angels can just move through them as if, you and I walk through air.
Right.
But the fallen angels, because they've lost most of their natural abilities, they have to try to find a way around this. And as the footage proves, they will slip in between dimensions. But every time that even that, in this case, a second dimensional being or a fourth dimensional one, demons, try to manifest, they were kicked out just like that. They could not take on a form.
Okay. All right.
As I said, it's a universal constant that God, in his infinite foreknowledge, put in his creation that would automatically kick out any demon that wasn't summoned or that is not possessing a host. And you see, this is why demonic possession came about. Before the flood, before the fall, there was no such thing as possession. There never had been. Because in their original states, these demons were angels. So they could go, as I said, from point A to point B, manifest, and not have a problem. Well, now that those fallen angels, the third that fell from God's grace, are now demons, they lost most of their powers. So because they lost most of their powers, for them to travel, they have to do it by, force at times. It's, if you look at that one instant on the film when that portal's being opened, it looks like it's actually being forced ahead, as if something's desperately trying to push through. You'll see it when you review the footage.
Right.
But that's because the demon can't naturally manifest. It has to force itself through the dimensions. And even then, because it doesn't have the power to manifest anymore for any real period of time, it's usually 2-3 minutes at the most, they're forced out of this dimension. However, through demonic possession, demons can stay because they are possessing a third-dimensional host that is part of our physical universe. The demon may be fourth dimension, but because it's cohabiting a third-dimensional host, it doesn't have to use any of its what little power is left to manifest because it's in a third-dimensional body now. Nothing can kick it out except for a deliverance or if the body dies.
And then where does it, okay, we'll say a body dies, or in the case of a deliverance, where does it go?
Well, if it's a deliverance and if the person's wise enough, they will bind the demon in the name of Christ, and they will confine it to the lowest part of the bottomless pit and command it to stay there until the final day of judgment. If a person does that, that demon can no longer leave. It can only be brought up one last time, and that will be through God's power when he casts them into the lake of fire.
All right.
That's why when I've done, I don't know how many deliverances in this life, and the one thing I always tell everyone, don't just bind it and cast it away. No, because you're just casting the problem to someone else. No, bind it and then cast it into the bottomless pit, there to remain until the final day of judgment. This way, that demon can no longer escape.
All right. So would it stand to reason then, Doc, that in the case of a death or in fact, the Drudge had a link, and I don't know whether it was a UK, I don't know where it was from. Somebody had video or camera footage captured. It was a violent accident. I believe it was someone on a motorcycle, and I don't know how many people saw this, but there was a body on the ground. I mean, just freshly deceased from hitting a pole or something, and it looked very similar to what we just saw here with respect to that shadow coming out of the ground, or not out of the ground, out of that dark spot. So would it stand to reason that in a death, someone who's possessed, that would demon would look something like that, or
I'd have to see the footage to first of all tell you if that's an actual demon. But because the person died and there was no deliverance, that demon is free to roam the earth.
happy
Just as the
thoughts.
Bible describes.
All right.
Just as the Bible describes, it's free to roam the earth.
All right.
Because no one took authority over that demon in time. It's too late. The body died.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this.
And
Wow. Okay. But this footage you have. Can I ask? I mean, we got about here 2 minutes before the bottom of the hour, and I don't know how much more we have to cover with respect to this. But how did you come upon? I mean, were you? This is valuable to me. This is valuable footage. How did you come upon this, or can't you say?
Well, as I said, cameras are being set up in the different area where I've been doing my field work.
Right.
Okay? And this footage was actually taken by someone other than myself. They knew of my work, and they sent it to me. And when I reviewed it, and as I said, I knew the location. It was right next to where I've been doing my field work.
Right.
This was, as you put it, that mystic, magical aha moment.
Okay. Well,
I finally said to myself, this is it.
See, and that's because of, I mean, look, folks, decades of research. You've got to understand, Doc has been doing this 25 years, decades of research and investigation. He didn't fall, just fall upon this. This was a product of his decade, two and a half decades of research, and here it is. And boy, I look at that. I'm looking at the video again. That, oh my goodness, that's a bizarre thing, folks. Again, we're listening to Doc Marquis. Go to his website, grab a hold of this. And I got a feeling, folks, if you don't do this right now, you may not have the opportunity before it's. I mean, these are going to go fly out of stock. Doc Marquis, There Were Giants in the Earth, Part 3 in this series, It's in the Bible series. Do yourself a favor, grab a hold of this, the entire series, as a matter of fact. Go to his website. It's a God Things Productions 777.com, and do yourself a favor, grab a hold of this DVD. Support his work. It's cost money to do what he does, and he does great work. So, 25 years of research. Do yourself a favor, grab this. Folks, we're going to be right back with our final half hour with Doc Marquis. You're listening to Hagman and the Hagman Report. Stay right where you are. And welcome back, folks, to the final half hour of the Hagman and Hagman Report in this edition with Doc Marquis. If you are listening to this on Global Star or BTR, go back to our YouTube channel. Subscribe, by the way, to our YouTube channel. Go back and take a look at what you're hearing described. But even better than that, get yourself a copy of Doc's DVD. I've got it here, and this is just a small part of what's on this DVD. Okay, but Doc is sharing this with all of us. He's being kind enough and gracious enough to allow this to be exposed. I looked at this on the regular monitor. Eric looked at it. We looked at it together, and we're both like, "What? What did we just see? We know what we saw, but what did we just see?" And frankly, wow, good stuff. So go to Doc's website. It's a God Thing Productions 777.com. Doc Marquis, grab his 2 DVD set. This is third in the series. Grab the whole series, because this is not going to last long. I can tell you that right now. Do it tonight, and you support the research of this man. Hey, enough DVDs, you could buy a cup of Starbucks coffee. But seriously, look, folks, you don't make a lot of money in research. Seriously, you don't make a lot of money. So we depend on your support. Doc depends on your support and certainly appreciates it. Doc, thanks for holding out with us, man. This is crazy stuff. I'm looking at this, and we have it frozen on that image by the circle.
Yeah, I know. It is. It does almost enter into the realm of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
But, this is what I've been expecting. This is what I've been waiting for. Because, you see, there are certain prophecies in the scriptures that tell us what the end times are going to be like right before the tribulation period hits. Now, interesting enough, in the book of Revelation, we find out that in Revelation 18:23b, it tells us that the entire world is going to be handed over to the Antichrist through the occult. Now, it says all nations, not some, not part, not just this one. It says all the nations of the world are going to be handed over to the Antichrist through the occult. Now, in order for that prophecy to come true, we have to see right now in our day and age a resurgence of the occult, of the major occult religions, greater now than in all of recorded history. We have to see that outrageous numbers going higher and higher and higher. And interesting enough, according to the, I think they're called the Council of World Churches, I believe that's the name. According to their figures, in America alone, every year, 1 million people are now being initiated into one or the other occult religions.
Wow.
That's 1 million. How many people did we get saved last year, folks? We're losing. We're losing. And even more interesting, we also find out that according to the scriptures, these horrific demonic forces are actually going to be released during the tribulation period because an angel comes down and unlocks the bottomless pit and releases those demonic creatures.
Regardless of the time period, it ain't going to be a fun time. I mean, yes. I mean, so you're okay. Now, just going back to what you said earlier, though, this has been prophesized that as we approach the end times, more of this is going to happen, right?
Right. It has to.
It has to. That's right.
As I said, in order for them to be fulfilled, we have to see things beginning in our day and age now. And if you think these two demonic manifestations or something, folks, I'm going to try to get back out, and as Doug put it, and I'm not going to lie about it, I don't have the money to do it right now. Everything is funded through the DVDs or people's donations here. I mean, this is not one of those rich multi-million-dollar mega-supported ministries. No, it's just me and God here.
Yeah, and I'll second that because, and folks, the humility, the humbleness that you're hearing is honest, it's true. And, you know, we our platform, and I'm going to shut up, Doc, but our platform, what we do is we look at the projects, Doc, like yours, and we hope, I mean, by featuring projects like yours, we hope that people will find one or more and say, you know what, I want to back this person, back you, for example, or whatever the project might be. But at least what we try to do is be the vetting mechanism for worthy projects, and certainly this is worthy. And this is prima facie evidence, in my view, that your research is producing the results that people are looking for. So there it is.
That's just it. The prophecy state was supposed to be looking for these things, and we've got the evidence it's happening. Yeah. Now, what I'm planning on doing, Lord willing, as soon as we get the money, we're going to go back in this area because this area, Doug, excuse me, I am not kidding. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get lost, and no one's going to find your body ever. And I mean ever. Your bones will turn to dust before anyone could possibly find you. This is a very vast area. This is where, rattlesnakes, scorpions, creatures that's going to want to eat you in the middle of the night. But this is where the stone circles, the ancient ones, are, and this is where we're seeing the demonic activity. And what I want to do, we're going to get back out there because I have a twofold reason. We've got to get more footage, but more importantly, it's in this same area where where in the Illuminati, when I was, I think I was 10 or 12, around that age, when I heard that in this particular area, the ancient 15-foot tall red-headed giants resided. And I have spoken to a number of Native American Indians right in this same area, and they have told me that what I learned in the Illuminati, because I told them the exact stories I learned, they told me every story I had learned was exactly right. Now, what's getting me closer to where I think I might finally find the remains of these giants is that there are these petroglyphs. I have got literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of petroglyphs. Some of these petroglyphs, human eyes haven't set foot on them for over 1,000 years. But I've been climbing up these mountains like I'm some sort of goat herder. And, I'm no kid. I'm 60, years old. But I am climbing up these rock walls 100 plus feet all the way straight up. And when you finally get to what looks like an entered place, you go in, you walk around these rocks, you go behind them, and you'll find these ancient petroglyphs that are telling the stories of these 15-foot tall giants. And in that series, you'll see the petroglyphs I'm talking about. As I said, some of them are over 1,000 years old. Now, according to the ancient legends, now this is what I learned in the Illuminati, and this is what the Indians, the Native American Indians, have confirmed. According to the accounts, over 1,000 years ago in North America, there were these 15-foot tall, probably higher, red-headed giants that had 6 fingers and 6 toes. And they would run throughout North America and just grab, literally just pick up buffalo, or if the Indians were herding animals, whatever they may be, they would just run through their herds, scoop them up in their arms, and just keep doing it, run away with impunity.
Right.
Now, by themselves, not one tribe could possibly tackle a tribe of giants. They just couldn't. However, someone got the bright idea and said, well, if we unite our tribes together, we can go after them. And that's what they did. Quite literally speaking, and it took quite a number of decades, but they hunted those giants down to extinction. And according to the stories, the last giants, there was about 12 or 15 of them, as I was told in the Illuminati, were cornered in this one cave. Now, the Native Americans were throwing in spears and shooting arrows to try to force them out, but the giants just remained in the cave. So they tried to smoke them out by, lighting this huge fire in front of the cave. And the giants never came out. Instead, they stayed in the cave and they suffocated. Now, if you understand the cultural beliefs that apply to this story, none of the Native American Indians would have touched that cave because that would have been considered a cursed area. They wouldn't have touched it. And from what I was told, they just left that and they never returned. So that means, now mind you, I spoke to a number of Native American Indians, plus I spoke to a number of the elders now. And they all told me that the stories I related to them was exactly what they've been telling their own kids for over 1,000 years. Now that means, Doug, somewhere in that area where I've been working, there's a cave that hasn't been touched for over 1,000 years that have the skeletal remains of about 12 giants. Can you imagine what would happen, what could happen if we actually found those skeletal remains? I mean, we could prove the giants, according to the Bible, existed. Therefore, the Bible's been right all along.
Now, okay, let me ask you this. Do you know the exact geographical location of this cave, or? I don't. And anyone I have spoken to, any of the Native American Indians
If they know, they haven't told me.
Okay.
But this is why I need to go back out there, because I've been following these petroglyphs, and they seem to be leading me around like like a giant spiral. And if I'm correct, the way this spiral is leading me, by the time I reach the center, if I'm correct, the cave will be in that area.
Okay. Wow. I'm processing this now. From an Illuminati.
And as I said, Joe, okay. Doug, I have found over 400 petroglyphs. Now, one in particular, it literally just blew my mind. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. It's a hunting scene. It shows, and believe it or not, I had an archaeologist look at this, so I didn't think I was going crazy here. When he looked at it, he said, "Oh my goodness!" He says, "That is a Tyrannosaurus Rex." And standing right next to it, just as tall, was a giant.
Okay.
And you can see all these normal-sized people and animals running away from the T-Rex and the giant.
And see, Doc, am I correct? This is what is to come yet past this prologue. Taking a look in the past is we're looking at what will be released in the future. Am I right?
Well, one thing I do know, Doug, that old axiom, those who do not learn the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them.
Mm-hmm.
I see it's true because I see history in a circle because we just haven't learned its lessons. I know there were demons in the past.
Right.
And I know, according to the scriptures, that demons are going to be returning like never before. And you and I and the rest of your listening audience just saw 2 demonic manifestations to prove that theory.
Yes. However, if I heard you correctly, they kind of wrong place, wrong time, wrong planet, wrong everything. Whoops, got to get out of here, and then blipped out. So, but you're saying, however, that's not going to be the case. They're going to be here to stay.
Well, that the demons coming past, it has to be, because remember, during the tribulation period, they're going to be released from the bottomless pit.
All right.
This is done by divine order now.
Okay.
And if God says he's going to do it, well, folks, you might as well get used to the fact. Those demons are going to be released from the bottomless pit. And woe be to those who are here during the tribulation period to face it.
All right. Now, let me ask, from the Illuminati standpoint, you said, and this is something, I've just got probably a dozen or so emails about this, wanting to know from your Illuminati experience, what did the Illuminati tell you as an insider about this that we're seeing? I don't know if you understand that.
See, this is part of this. What we're seeing right now will be part of what makes up the army that's going to be standing up against God during the Battle of Armageddon. Remember, and I've said this in the past, Doug, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I've stated to you before that according to the Illuminati belief system now, at the end, when the Battle of Armageddon hits, they're going to kill God and the Holy Spirit and put Lucifer on the throne where he rightfully belongs. Haven't I told you that?
Yes. Okay.
That's why they believe these demons are going to make up part of the armies that will destroy God and all his followers.
When you say destroy God and his followers,
that's, the angels and us coming down for the final battle of Armageddon.
Okay. So go against, I understand. War in the heaven. Okay, war. I understand what you're saying.
War in the heavens, but it takes place on the earth this time.
Correct. Yes, it's almost an abstract concept, but it's not really abstract at all. It's okay.
Well, again, history's repeating itself.
Right.
This war, everyone thought the battle was over in heaven. No, that's part 1. Part 2 concludes on earth.
And men's hearts will fail them. My goodness. Um, oh, wow. So
This is why they're welcoming these demons. This is why they've been summoning them, because they make up part of the whole of the army that will be led by Lucifer to stand up against God and, in their belief, kill God and the Holy Spirit and put their God, their so-called God, Lucifer, on the throne.
Right. Okay. And
that's what it's all about.
Okay, so what we're witnessing, and this is, wow, this is pretty revealing what we're witnessing here, and what you
and
have.
You see, Doug, let me just
go ahead
for 1 second.
Go.
And this is why the giants were created. You see, Satan could not take the heavens, so he decided he was going to take the earth, and he was going to attempt to do it by creating the first genetic experiment in history, crossbreeding the fallen demons, the fallen angels, which are now demons, having them mate with female human beings and create a race of giants that ranged anywhere from 9.5 feet to 40 feet in height. And with such an army, Satan was convinced he could take the earth.
Gotcha.
But he did not count on God's foreknowledge and how God would destroy the first occurrence of giants. And then when they reoccurred again after the flood, God wiped them out of the land of milk and honey, or what's known as ancient Canaan. In ancient Canaan, if you just do a little bit of math and some digging in the Holy Scriptures, you will find out that there was approximately 1 million giants in that land of Canaan.
1 million?
Yes. Now, there were giants throughout the world. We've got the archaeological evidence. But why ancient Canaan? Why was there such a heavy concentration? 1 million giants in Canaan, of all places on the earth. Why that one place?
Go ahead. Why?
Well, if someone will just pull out a map of ancient Canaan, and right around the center of it, you're going to find a little tuck-away place known as Bethlehem of Judea, where the Messiah was going to be born. Satan was going to try to stop the prophecy. You see, there's a belief in the occult world. If you all of it, God do with 1 million prophecy of the Messiah being born, and we know that's Jesus Christ, who would be the destruction.
Okay.
That's why Canaan. 1 million giants. Yeah. Satan must have figured that would have been enough.
Wow. When you think about this, okay, now there you've got the motive, of course, to go against and to prove the Bible wrong, or to prove God wrong. Didn't happen, but there's the means by which it was attempted, the giants, the location, of course. Okay, makes sense. Huh.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting, do you know, in that same area, way back about 5,000 years ago, there's a gigantic ringed circle. It consists of 3-4 rings, as I was called. In the Hebrew, it's called Gilgal-Raphaim.
Yes.
Translated, it means the wheel of ghost or the wheel of giants.
Yep.
And interesting enough, we know that in that part of the Middle East, 5,000 years ago, there was no wandering nomad, nothing. There was no civilizations, nothing there. And when we look at this stone circle, as I said, it's made up of 3 or 4 concentric rings. It's and if I recall, there's something like 42,000 basalt stones that make it up, and it was dated to be 5,000 years old. The only people in that area during that time were the giants, according to the scriptures, and it's the same area of Canaan.
Interesting. And, you take all of this information and you start. First of all, you take your Bible, and then you start taking this information, and you start connecting the dots. The Bible comes alive to each one of us. The backstory becomes evident. Wow, Okay, this is something, and of course, this
Well,
roadmap to
as
the
I just
future.
stated, with Gilgal Beth-lehem, you'll see all the evidence for yourself. It's in the DVD. I put everything from beginning to end when it came from what originally happened in Genesis 6, what was going on through history, brought it up to the creations of the stone circles, brought it up to today's modern times, and showed all the connections. Now, there's 9 major sections that everyone has to go through. It's 2 discs. As I said, it's over 3 hours. This is a long study. But you will see all the evidence for yourself. As I said, you'll see all the ancient stone circles in Nevada, Kori, Göbekli Tepe, the ones in Russia, the ones in Sweden, Portugal, the ones here in America at Burnt Hill. Or if you look at the ancient megalithic structures that was built in Windham, New Hampshire, known as the American Stonehenge. And we'll take you through all the occult crop formations. We're going to take you through absolutely every little jot and tittle so that you can see for yourself the full truth of what had happened in the past, what's going on now in the present, and what you can expect to continue to go on from this day all the way through the Battle of Armageddon. The evidence is all there. You can cross-reference it with the Bible, but you'll find out it's exactly as I've been trying to explain to you folks and show to you on that footage you've seen for, the last couple of hours. But it's all there. And I know Doug saw it because Doug, I remember when he was talking to me about it, he was stunned.
Yes, I will admit, Doc, that it was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And folks, you can see the same thing too. I would really urge. I mean, it's well worth it to grab to purchase the DVD set, the series as well, because it does put everything in perspective. But there's no way to. I mean, if I would have seen this, if I'm sitting at a bank of security cameras or monitors and see this, man. Yeah, Doc, I'd be in therapy. Well, not really. I mean, but it's obvious to me that there is something here. You've captured it. It's been captured, that is, and you've analyzed it. And you've proved the authenticity of the tape 100%, or the video, I should say, 100%. And great work, man. Fantastic presentation. Thank you.
Well, I'm just glad we were able to do it because I know this was a first for the Hagman and Hagman report. I mean, I know
Yes.
you and Eric, you've never done anything like this before, and you guys deserve nothing but the best kudos because you pulled off what's never been done before.
It wasn't me. I was sleeping in the top bunk. Eric was doing everything. No, I'm kidding, but no, it's something, Doc, that what we're trying to do, and this because of researchers like yourself, and I mean, what we need to do is we need to get the word out there, and you're part of getting this word out there, what's coming, and with that comes preparation. Knowledge is power. The application of that knowledge is greater power to fight what we know what it's coming up against us, and you've done it. You've been at the tip of the spear on this, and I just want to say thank you for all you've done, and thank you for showing this. This is proprietary stuff to you, data, and you've really given our audience a gift of insight into what this contains, and I want to say thank you for that. Wow.
Well, Lord willing, I'll be able to give them even more if I can get back out in the field again because, as I said, we are narrowing this down. We're finding more and more evidence as we follow the petroglyphs where they've been leading us. And as it says, I'm convinced this second time around, this next time around, I should say, we're going to find even more hardcore evidence. I really do. I'm convinced of it because I've got people in those area who've been telling me that they're seeing these things. Something is going on. Something very major is about to explode, and they've been sending me photos and such, and I'm going, are you kidding me? We're finding now footprints. Not just in the dirt, but in solid stone. You know how you'll find like a field of small pebbles,
Yep.
and that's all there is?
Yep.
There's been these footprints that when you sit down and do the math, see the specific medical math we use to try to measure anything, you know I have a medical background, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Right. And so when we apply the numbers, whatever is leaving these footprints behind, Doug, the math is telling me whatever they are is standing somewhere between 15 to 18 feet in height. I can't tell you. I mean, I want to say it's a giant, but I don't know. I mean, I know what the math is telling me. I know what the footprints are showing me.
Right.
But without seeing whatever it is, I mean, I don't want to be a bad Christian teacher and say, aha, it's a giant. No. I have to reserve my opinion until I can see the evidence. You know, something is out there. Or
Standard
something.
of evidence. Doc,
Exactly. And there are these manifestations also happening. People are actually describing now. I've had 3 or 4 cases right now where people have told me what they describe is exactly that of a shadow man.
Unbelievable. Doc, we're going to have you back. God bless you. We reached the end of the program. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And God bless all your listeners. God bless them.